2 years ago this week, 98-year-old Laszlo Csatary was charged for Nazi war crimes. He was accused of organizing the deportation of approximately 15,700 Jews to Auschwitz, brutalizing the inhabitants of his city, and he inhumanely exercised his authority in a forced labor camp. He was convicted in absentia in 1948 and sentenced to death. He fled to Canada the year after, 1949, where he became a citizen ultimately in 1955. And then his citizenship was revoked 42 years later in 1997. 2 months later, he disappeared, discovered in Budapest in 2012, but died of pneumonia shortly after we reported on his upcoming trial. So at the time, the question was, should he be tried at all? Should he be imprisoned if found guilty? He's so old, his crimes are so far in the past. And we thought, yes, he had quite a vacation after the war and was never held accountable. Because someone has evaded capture for a long time, that's not a justification for saying there should be no punishment at all. We're quickly approaching a time when there will be no more ex-Nazis or accomplices to convict. If we find someone that was able to successfully evade prosecution, they should be prosecuted. The status, their health status or age can be taken into consideration with regard to the punishment. In this particular case, the individual ended up dying. But absolutely, the right decision is to go forward. If the statute of limitations has not expired, then you prosecute.
And I think in many of these cases, there is no statute time-wise.
Well, that's my point, which is that
yeah.
we might have, with other crimes, we might be in a situation where you don't really have the choice because the statute of limitations has run out. If that's not the case, as it is here, then what would be the explanation for not prosecuting from a legal basis?
Right. Now, this case was kind of interesting because he was sentenced to death, but eventually, of course, escaped. And then the country he was sentenced to death in abolished the death penalty sometime between his sentence and when he was going to be tried again. And it's kind of an interesting situation. But yes, he got away with it. He lived almost the majority of his life in peace, away from all of this. He got away with, I guess you could say he got away with murder.
Yeah. So since when do we reward people because they were able to escape punishment that was legally assigned to them? I didn't think that was how our legal system worked.
I don't think that's how any legal system should work. And, ultimately, he did get away with it.